Hello, my friends. Welcome to another episode of Deep True Crime. I'm Manny Rodriguez. In today's episode, I want to do a follow-up story to the Elliot Blair story that I did a few weeks back. And the topic was what happened to Elliot Blair. At that time, we were told it was an accident. He was found right outside his resort room where him and his wife were celebrating their first year anniversary. Wife says no, there's no way that was an accident. But authorities said it was an accident. It gets so scary when you're going into another country and they have their own ways of doing things. And so there's a chance that this will never actually be solved, but I want to update you on what we know at this time, because a man's life was taken way too soon. The wife wants answers. The family wants answers. The friends want answers. And the widow says someone did this to him. Let's go ahead and dive into what we know at this time. The heartbroken widow of this California public defender, she is speaking out on his death for the first time. And she says she believes that he was murdered. You see, Kimberly Williams, the widow of Elliot Blair, they had been celebrating their one-year wedding anniversary at the Las Rocas Resort and Spa in Mexico. Authorities, they have continually shared that his death was an accident, while his family say that he was the victim of a brutal crime. His wife, Kim, says that she still can't sleep in a bed because the last time I was in bed, I was woken up to find my husband dead. She says someone did this to him, and previously lawyers for his family said that they were told he suffered a gunshot wound to the head. There's no way that could be an accident. Speaking to ABC, Kim said they said it was an accident. Suicide, gunshot wound. It was a roller coaster. Suicide? I mean, everything under the sun except for what I think happened. Someone did this to him. I just remember him telling me how beautiful I looked that night. He was my rock, my everything. I still can't go to bed. I can't. I sleep on the couch because the last time I was in bed, I was woken up to find my husband dead. The couple, they had got massages and, about 5 or 6 drinks as they were celebrating their time together, having a great time before heading to dinner together. With Kim saying that she had never seen her husband sloppy after drinking. He was always responsible about his approach to drinking alcohol. That's why she says there is no way this could have happened the way authorities are saying that this happened. She wants justice. She wants answers. And the family did an autopsy, and we'll dive into that here in a second. But she truly believes that something happened to her husband, and the Mexican authorities are not being honest. You see, it has since come out that on their way home, they were reportedly pulled over by Mexican police who said that they went through a stop sign and demanded cash from them. Again, this is her side of the story. We do know that authorities, they're not, whether you're in the U.S., authorities can do bad things that authorities should not be doing. Same thing in Mexico. Authorities doing bad things that they should not be doing. And so this is not anything new, but this is her version. She says that they went through a stop sign, kind of rolled through a stop sign, and then Mexican police demanded cash from them. Kim, she says that Elliot has always told me when we go down there to kind of not engage, he'll handle whatever needs to be said with them. Elliot had told him, we don't have the amount of cash that you want. The other officer came up and started talking to us, where are you staying? That's what they were asking them. And this is where it's like, okay, why are they now grilling them? Kind of makes sense. You're not from the country and they want to know what you're doing there, right? Elliot told them we were staying at Las Rocas. Elliot stood his ground, showed him his work badge, and said, look, we are attorneys. We're not down here to mess around, but we are also not going to be taken advantage of. We didn't have the amount they wanted. We were both rattled, but at the same time, we both had this feeling of, thank God they didn't do anything more to us. She says that the couple handed over all the cash in their wallets, which was $160, before returning to the hotel and going up to the hotel room. Elliot went to take a shower and Kim fell asleep before being woken up to a security guard and a hotel manager in her room. The lawyer reportedly watched an Instagram video at 12:35 a.m. and an ambulance was called to report the incident at the hotel only 15 minutes later. She added, I ran out to the front door and they're pointing over the side of our front door area to the ground. It was my Elliot down there. I just was yelling at them to call an ambulance, call an ambulance, call an ambulance. They said an ambulance came an hour ago. That's what she was sharing about what transpired as they were down there enjoying their vacation and getting ready for bed that night. She says, I want the world to know who my Elliot is. I want to make sure he's remembered. Now, an expert for the family believes that his death was not an accident and released images of his injuries showing bruises on the front of his body. Dr. Rami Hashish said there's indication of potential of being dragged on the floor on the front of the body. There's fractures to the back of the skull. Nothing really points to the face that it was necessarily an accident, as if he had fallen off of the balcony, as again authorities were claiming. They were claiming that this was an accident and it looked like that he fell off the balcony. Now, Mexican authorities, they have refuted the claims, and a spokesperson for the Baja California Attorney General told the LA Times that there was no sign of violence and rejected the evidence of a gunshot wound. After his wife was informed of the incident, a family friend came and translated for her, with the family lawyer claiming that a police officer told Kim that her husband had been shot in the head. When the coroner's office contacted the family days after his death, they were told that the cause of death was trauma to the head and that his death would be referred as a suspected homicide to prosecutors. The family, they say that they are disappointed that they cannot conduct a toxicology report to disprove claims that Blair was drunk when he died. Now, again, they have since done the autopsy, because at first the plan to do their own autopsy when they get his body back, with the mortuary telling the family that bodies are only embalmed under family or prosecutor's office orders. Now, family and colleagues said on the GoFundMe page for Blair that he was tragically killed and died due to a brutal crime. In a brief statement, Mexican authorities said they are investigating his death and are in contact with American authorities through the U.S. Justice Department and the FBI, which in turn is informing Blair's family. And so this happened on January 14th at 1:15 in the morning, and authorities were notified that Blair fell from the balcony of Hotel Las Rocas in the town of Rosarito, just south of Tijuana and off the Tijuana-Ensenada highway. Now, this autopsy, the family, they did a private autopsy as they wanted some answers, right? And so this private autopsy for the California lawyer who they say fell to his death from a resort balcony in Mexico, this has determined that he was actually murdered, as it emerged that local cops shook him down just hours before his mysterious death. And so Elliot Blair, who is a California public defender, his death had been ruled an accident. He actually even suffered bruising that did not match the account of local authorities in Baja California. His family's attorney, Case Barnett, told Good Morning America in an interview that aired Thursday, which was today. And so the autopsy confirms that he, Elliot Blair, was murdered that night. That's what the family attorney is sharing about this, and that he was attacked by more than one man. You see, meanwhile, a source close to the family told the Orange County Register that 2 cops in Rosarito stopped Blair and his wife, Kimberly Williams, for rolling through a stop sign just hours before he died at the Los Rocas Resort and Spa on January 14th. Now, when I first reported on this story, we did not know about that moment. Blair didn't have the amount demanded during the alleged shakedown, allegedly, but he did hand over $160 and then they were let go. That's what the source told the paper. And the Miss Williams, she said that we've never been pulled over before, who confirmed the confrontation with the police to ABC News Thursday in her first interview since her husband's death. She says that we were both rattled, but at the same time, we both had this feeling of thank God they didn't do anything more to us. But less than 2 hours later, Blair, only 33 years old, an Orange County deputy public defender, died after falling from the 3rd floor of the hotel. His body was found clad in his underwear, a t-shirt, and socks. Now, his family, they want authorities to investigate the alleged shakedown and determine whether it had anything to do with Blair's death. That's what the paper has reported. Williams told ABC News that he was my rock in this world. We bought our dream home, planned to have children together. Williams, who is also a deputy public defender, added, without him, I feel like I have nothing. She said she had been asleep when a security guard and the hotel manager woke her up saying, "Excuse me, miss, excuse me, excuse me. Is this your boyfriend down here?" I turned to the side. I didn't see him there. So I ran out the front door and they're pointing over the side of our front door area to the ground. Well, that was my Elliot down there. That's what she told ABC News. Now, the state attorney general's office of Baja California had said in a statement that Blair's death was the result of an unfortunate accident due to the fall of the deceased from a 3rd floor. Prosecutors said that this toxicology report also found that there was a considerable amount of alcohol in his body. So it sounds like they did end up having the toxicology, whereas early on they didn't. So his cause of death was listed as severe head trauma. But Barnett and Williams, they pushed back at the findings and maintained that Blair was the victim of a vicious crime. His wife also said he likely consumed 5 or 6 drinks over 6 hours that fateful night and was not drunk that he'd fall over a balcony by accident. In my 9 years of being with him and knowing him, I can tell you I've never seen him sloppy. I've never seen him not be able to stand. I've not seen him not be able to walk and care for himself. That is exactly what she told ABC News. Now, I shared with you about Dr. Rami Hashish, who is an injury expert consulting the family, said he doesn't really think that there's much evidence to the point that this was an accident. I think it's relatively clear the injury pattern just simply don't add up with one another. He also told ABC News that. And he also continues, there's bruising marks on the body. There's indications of potential being dragged on the front of the body. There's fractures to the back of the skull. Nothing really points to the fact that it was necessarily an accident. That's what Hashish had shared. Williams said authorities discussed several theories with her, including suicide and accident. Everything under the sun, except for what I think happened. Someone did this to him. That's what Williams, the wife, now widow, had shared. And she also said, I just know it's not an accident. I know he didn't fall. I just know that. I want to do everything we can to figure out what happened in that 45-minute hour time span. Because that's what Elliot deserves. And that's the hardest part for me, is not knowing. And the grieving woman also said investigators asked her if she and Blair had been quarreling. We are here on our anniversary. What are you talking about? That's what she told them. No, we are not fighting. Williams said she is speaking out so her late husband won't be forgotten. I want the world to know who my Elliot is. That's what she told ABC News. I want people to know he's not some drunk that stumbled off the front ledge of our hotel room. I want the world to remember the person he was, his smile, his heart. That's one of the only things keeping me going right now, is the idea of doing this for him, for honoring his name. And as we find out more, my friends, it definitely doesn't add up. But if they say that he was shot, shouldn't the autopsy show that he was shot? Because, granted, I've not seen the autopsy, so I'm just going off of media reports. But wouldn't the autopsy confirm that he was shot? Why isn't that being brought up if it is confirmed? Granted, finding out that these police officers in Mexico actually got $160 cash off of them, that is a little concerning. And I don't think she's making that part up at all. But do they really do that? My guess is yes. My guess is definitely yes. And heck, there's a warning right now. Don't go spring breaking over there. Right? Do not go to Mexico because of a number of different reasons. The cartel, kidnapping, trafficking, a number of different reasons. So, I mean, you gotta take this to heart. Because I'm scared of Mexico. I don't think I'll ever set foot in Mexico. That's just me. People still go cruising to Mexico, but yeah, let's be real. A lot of stuff happens over there. I don't understand it. I am scared of that country. I'm Manny Rodriguez. This has been another episode. My friends, Elliot deserves justice. Hashtag justice for Elliot Blair. Something happened over there. Did they extort money out of him? I do believe that part. But what happened with this gunshot that was originally reported? Because I even shared that in my first video, that it was reported that there was a gunshot. So at the end of the day, we're just going to keep learning more. The wife, the widow, she wants answers. The family, friends, they want answers. I don't blame them. My friends, if this is the type of content you like to follow, hit that subscribe button, click on that like. That way that tells YouTube there's some value here. Show it to more people. I'm Manny Rodriguez. My whole goal is to be a voice for the victims and to keep you updated on what could go wrong in this crazy world we live in. Like a trip to celebrate your 1-year anniversary in Mexico. Had they not gone to Mexico, he would be alive today. He would be alive serving California and serving people, because that's what public defenders do, right? They're helping people who cannot afford an attorney. I'm Manny Rodriguez. This has been another episode of Deep True Crime. Until next time, my friends, be careful out there. Peace. Have a great one.